So if you take a look at my screen, you should easily be able to get on to this slide deck if you type in bit.ly slash, it is case sensitive, so do capital KT Spark and then 323, or you can just use your phone or iPad and scan it. You should easily be able to get into that slide deck. We're going to have all the resources on our spreadsheet that we sent out as well. So for all the sessions throughout this week and the upcoming weeks, just to help everyone. So hopefully that gets it going. Oh, I see more people joining. Yay. All right. So those who are just joining, feel free to grab this slide deck. It will be posted a bit later and we'll get started. So my name's Crystal Ho and I work in Knowing Technologies. Some of you have not been with me recently, but thank you for dropping in. Today we're going to be looking at Flipgrid for all of your distant learning needs or whatever you're using it for, which is pretty exciting. So first off, all of our sessions we posted on social media and we sent it out in email and lots of different ways. So today we did Zoom and we're also doing Flipgrid right now. So you'll be able to click on these and get to the resources. We're also doing a live recording for them. So feel free to drop on to any of them at any time so that you can get those resources and throughout the week. So if you can't make it this week, hopefully you can get on a recording and learn some things. But yeah, just definitely check back regularly. We're going to keep posting different sessions. This one's going to be a half-hour long. I'm just going to kind of get your feet wet with Flipgrid. Some people have already tested it out a little bit from what I've seen, which is pretty exciting, but I can show you around a little bit. Just a little bit about Knowing Technologies. So we're based in California. We have coaches in the North and the South, and I'm Crystal Ho way over there on the right. And if you have any questions throughout, feel free to put them in the chat room for Flipgrid, but you could always email us, you can tweet at us, whatever you need to do. So today I'm going to be doing just a little bit of information. Oh, I already have a question. What's going on? Let's see, chat. Oh, right here. Oh, hey, Iman, welcome. So Iman, she is one of our Northern California folks. So she hopped on to help us with questions as well. Yay, there you are. So feel free to use the chat window. She'll be hopping in answering some questions. She's my little pal. And then, like I said, all of them will be recorded. We're just going to get our feet wet. And if you have more questions, feel free to just email us at info@knowingtechnologies.com. And you can easily connect with any of us, which is pretty exciting. All right, so if you're ready to get started, I'm going to be going live right into Flipgrid. And in the slide deck that I gave you all the resources just to make your life a little bit easier. So there is the Get Started link, remote learning to get us going for all this craziness that's happening. There will be a link. You can click on it here for joining my Flipgrid today, but I'll also give you the code live, so don't worry, you don't have to click on it right now. And then I'll also link to the recording once we get going. You're going to see at the bottom of my slide deck, it says my grids and all these weird words, and we're going to be talking about those in Flipgrid. I'm going to focus on 2 of them, which are in the big red boxes, just to keep us focused so you can kind of get an idea of what you'll be using mostly. Okay? All right, so first off, I'm going to pop into Flipgrid, and once I'm there, you can just go to like flipgrid.com or whatever, just search it, and once you're there, I just log in as an educator. So up here, you can sign up, and if you haven't already signed up, it takes like 2 minutes and asks for a couple things for your information. You can always do it later if you want to, and if you want to just follow along with me, totally up to you. So since I've already logged in, I've logged in with my Google before, it just lets me do that single sign-on, which is pretty handy. So I'm going to pop on in. And one day it will work. Must be everyone in the world's on Flipgrid today, just like everything else. All right, so up at the top are your main places that you're going to be popping around to. So your activity are things that you'll be posting or things that are coming in. My grids is what I think of as my classroom. So you can have different grids for each class or topics of, like I have one for my French 1 period, one for French 2, one for French 5, whatever it is. And then maybe I also work with student council and they're doing morning announcements and they're going to be posting with their faces. Maybe I have my faculty on a grid and they want to post recordings. It's totally up to you how you use it. So that's where one main section we're going to be playing with in that world today. Mixed tapes is when you really start to become a super user and you're loving Flipgrid. You're going to jump into that a little bit later, so I'm not going to really touch base on that. Grid pals, I love to connect with people from all around the world. So if you decide to become a super user again and you're like, you know, I wish I knew more people teaching science or math or Spanish from around the world, and what are they doing? This is how you'll connect, is in that Grid Pals. You connect it to one of your social medias. You might actually have to sign up for Twitter if you don't have it, or LinkedIn. And then once you connect into Grid Pals, you can connect with people all over the world. And it's really cool. You guys can have Flipgrid videos, chats, with each other from class to classroom, which is really neat. Disco Library, I love, because we're reusing other people's things and what they've already done in their classrooms. And then Shorts is, let's say you don't want to create an assignment, you just want a quick little video you want to send out to your class, like, good morning, I love all of you, which our amazing first grader teachers are doing. You can definitely do it here, unless you want a response. And then of course you're going to jump back into the classroom one under My Grid. So it's totally up to how you guys want to sort this out. Okay. So first thing is the grid. So I'm under My Grids at the top. And if you're doing it on your own, feel free to click around. I already have grids and you might not. So easily you can hit add a new grid on the left, and I think of this as my classroom. Okay, so I'm going to hit add new grid. Let's say I call it French 2. Maybe you call it kindergarten first period. I don't know, however you do it. And then down below is the important part of how do you want those kids to sign in. So if you want them to sign in with their Gmail or their Microsoft, like I just did at the beginning because I was the teacher, then that's the one that you're going to click. I want to make sure they're signing in with at mayfieldsenior.org or whatever school you're at. That's what you would be clicking on at the top. It keeps it a little bit more secure. If they have some kind of special ID, you could totally have them do that. That's a little setup on the back end. If you want their parents to log in because they don't have an email account, they're super little, then you can click on that public or PLC, and that lets it be a little bit more public where anyone can log in. Totally up to you. So I'm just going to click on the public one and then hit next. Don't worry about this copy code. They show it to us 100 times, so it's okay. We'll find it later. So hit next. And then it's up to me if I want to give a password. So that's because I made it public, remember? So if I still want it to be public for the parents to join in, but I want my password to be Crystal Ho's amazing, then I can make that the password. It's totally up to you, of course. All right, I'm going to hit next. And it says, woohoo, my grid is ready. Still another copy code. You could totally copy this now and post it on your learning management system or your Seesaw or whatever it is and say, hey guys, here's my classroom and I'm going to keep posting this. You can do that, but you don't have to, because they're going to give us more codes later that we can share as we go, which makes it a little bit easier for the students keeping their assignments in a specific order. So totally up to you. If you have those maybe higher level students in high school and you're like, here's the classroom, I'm going to post this all day long, feel free to drop them in. But I would say for like the little kids, I would give them like a code by code perhaps as you go, because it might get confusing with the order. All right. So if you did it correctly, I can hit go to my grid and it pops me right into my grid, but I'm going to go back so you can see what that looks like. So I just created that French 2 class. Here are all my other classes. So you're going to create grids if you have multiple classes. If you just have one class, you just have one class, totally fine, okay? So once I click on it and open it up, then there's topics. Topics are the questions that you want the students or the teachers or whoever to create that answer response for you. So it depends on what you do. It always starts with this topic down below where it says say hello. I can totally get rid of that over here and say delete topic. They give me all these actions. I don't need that one, but you can use it if you want that to be your first question for the kids. So I'm gonna hit delete because I don't need that one. I'm gonna start creating my own from scratch. And so now you can kind of see just my French 2 classroom. At the very top, students might be asking for a code to get in if they're trying to get in and it's not working. To get into this classroom, here's the share button in the top right. You'll see this a whole bunch. So I can copy that. I can also give them the QR code. So if you just copy that link, it just lets them get right in. If you made them sign in, they still have to sign in with an email account. If not, they have that special password. If it's super public, you just click and they're in. It's pretty amazing, okay? Actions over here on the right, I have other features. So I can add a co-pilot. Maybe you have co-teachers that you want them to help you work through this and you want all of your kids in kindergarten to be on this one grid so they can talk to each other. Totally fine. You can do whatever you want. So it kind of gives them this video experience of being able to watch each other's videos. So there's some features right within there within actions. So getting started is adding a new topic. So every time you ask a question, you hit add new topic and you get this screen. So this is the very basic. You can just call this one good morning and you want to post it tomorrow. So it gives you the title. To the right, you have up to 5 minutes to let the kids record. 5 minutes is a really long time. So keep in mind what they're doing. I've seen math examples where they're recording from their phone and they're working out the math problem or they're drawing whatever it is and then they can upload it, which is really neat. So it just depends on what time you need. Here's where you would ask the question where it says add a question. So I would say, hi everyone, please respond to da da da, and then I fill it out, obviously. You get that part. Down below that, there's some focus, and so it's really fun. I can record a video of myself and I can talk through it and have the kids respond. I can already have a video that I wanted to upload. Maybe I'm chasing around my animals, whatever it may be. You can upload one from YouTube. There's a whole bunch of fun ones that you can pop in from here if you choose to. You don't have to pick any of these. I'm going to show you more options, which is way at the bottom because there are some cool features that you might decide to use. So I'm going to click on that down below. And the topic tip kind of gives the students, like if I gave them a math problem, I could say like, focus on this specific example that we did in number 3. I mean, you can add those little tips and it shows them that when they pop up on the question. Down below, this is one of my favorite things, topic status. So right now it says active. That means it's a live video, all the kids are posting and they can see each other's and responding on each other's if I choose to. If I switch that to hidden, that means I can see all their videos, but they can't see each other's. So that's really nice for like assessment features. Like if I give Susie number 5 and so number 1, they all have their own questions and I can see the answers to it, but they can't see each other's. If you keep it active, they can see each other's and explain. So it's kind of handy. So up here on the right, it says student to student replies. That means they can watch the kids' video. Like I watched Susie's video and I can also respond and reply to her video, which is another handy back and forth feature if you want them to do that. Down below, you have some other features. Maybe you want to add some attachments, like if you had a Google Doc with some links, or if you had another video, any external things you can add to this video just for that assignment, they give you those features. So these are all toggled on. I usually, this is default. I keep the likes off. I don't like that feature as much of let's like each other's video. I mean, I don't know what you would do for that. What's the feedback for it? So just keeping that in mind. And then you can also grade the video. So there's basic feedback right here, and you can also customize it if you decide to grade. I don't grade group videos because it only goes to the person that uploads it. So keep that in mind. It doesn't go to multiple emails when you grade it. So that's why I usually don't do a feature of feedback a lot unless it's for one kid, not a group of kids. Okay, so once I hit create, it says, woohoo, you're all set. This is the link that I'm going to copy for this specific assignment. I can also post the URL. Usually I do both to make it easier, because some people it's easier if I'm on a tablet or a phone. I use the QR code. If I'm using my computer, it's really hard to get that QR code to scan unless I have this QR reader on my computer. So I like the link too. I always try to post both. So keep that in mind. All right. Once it's all set, ready to go. So it's pretty easy. I'm going to go back to my grids just so you can see what that looks like. So here's my French 2, here's the good morning. I have the features. I can easily edit any of these things. I can make them hidden. I can easily edit with the little pencil. I still have the share button with the rocket ship. And I love this new feature where it says view right in the middle. I can click and view it as a student. And this is what it looks like as soon as a student logs in. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So it says, good morning. Here's my question. It would also have the attachments right down below. And the students would click this big plus button. And that's what everyone wants to see, of course. So I'll let you play in a second. So those are like the main things of just setting up Flipgrid. I'm going to pop over to my other one so you can see what it looks like as a student in case you want to play. This is the one that's linked onto the slide deck that I was telling you about as well. So if you're on the Flipgrid slide, it says join my Flipgrid to practice. You can click that link. But I'm also going to pop back over. Let me close out of that so I don't get confused. If you want to try and see what it looks like as a student, this is what you're going to click on. And I'll also do the QR code in case you want to scan with your phone, just so you can see what it looks like as a student. You don't have to publish it, but you can play with the features as a student. So what you would do is type in flipgrid.com right now, /, and then this is case sensitive, I do believe. So you would do E9974143, or just use your phone, open up the camera, and then hover over this QR code in this little box. It'll show up and it'll say, hey, do you want to open this up in Safari or whatever browser you're using? And you'll be able to pop on. So I'll give you a second in case you want to scan, or if you want to type that in real quick. Let me zoom in a bit. Some people want to pop in, and then you'll get to see it as a student and check out those features. Okay. So I'm going to close out of that. You can always play with it. It's going to be live, so you can play with it at any time. So mine was welcome. So as a student, I said, hey, everyone, so glad you made it. Go ahead and click that big green button. So when they click it, mine was still, hey, you need to log on. So I'm going to click on this. Let's see if it lets me log on as a student. And then you have my face. You don't get the really cool background like it does for Zoom. I love the background feature though, isn't it cool? All right, so students, they love filters. You can turn these off in those optional settings, but they love to do these crazy kind of filters. They can add text if you want them to type something. They can type something and move it around their face. They think that's funny. They also love emojis, so you'll see all these funny stickers popping in if you allow it. So if you played with Flipgrid already, you probably have seen these things. One of the newest features this year, I believe, is the whiteboard. And so the whiteboard is really handy, especially on a tablet or a phone, because if they click this little paint bucket, it gives them white or black. It's totally up to them, but it lets them actually draw, and they can do word problems, or they can add, or whatever you want them to do. It's just a nice little whiteboard that they can kind of like doodle around, which is pretty cool. To the top right, we have sticky notes. So it's just kind of like a Padlet or something I can type up there, super handy. And then I can also, if I forgot what I was supposed to do, because I'm so excited to do all these emojis, I can hit the little book, and here's the question again. So all those are built right in. So you should see all those same features. Then when I hit record, it lets me record. So I can record over as the whiteboard explaining. Let me get rid of that book thing. So I'm recording as the whiteboard. During that, I can easily switch back into my face if I wanted to, and then back into the whiteboard. So kids have a lot of options right here. They hit next. You can't hear myself talking because it's all in my headphones, but it lets them close out of this if they didn't like that, and they can re-record. So I usually give kids a time limit, and when I'm in class, like, okay, I'm only giving you these 5 minutes. I'm not letting you do this all day, but now that we're home, you can be a little bit more flexible, I'm sure. Once you hit next, It lets them take a selfie. They can take a silly selfie. Usually I see a lot of emojis on this one too, and then they like to make it as big as their face. I've seen this all day long. And then they take the picture and it gets uploaded right into our world. So as that decides to upload, I will see the activity being built right within here. So when I click back into the topic, all the recordings are going to start showing right down here. I can hear my computer like freaking out because I have so many videos being processed now. So I'm going to stop that, but you get the idea. Is we will see all the videos being popped up right down below here for responses, and I can click on them and view them, and I can grade them, or I can respond back, which is really fun. All right. So that's the main place that you're going to be at for Flipgrid, I would say. Then at the top, I'm going to also show you the Disco Library because I just think that's phenomenal. I use this all the time. So I'm going to click on Disco Library. And in here, let me just zoom out so you can see a little bit better. So these are like the top hot topics that people are using. What's being used this week? Like Rosie Revere, a lot of people are watching that being read to from the astronaut YouTube. It was amazing. So you can pop through and see what's popular. Maybe you love Epic. You can click on Epic and see the Epic topics, and it brings you right down here. So basically these are the hot topics at the top. Down below are the search windows. So I can choose my audience and say I have elementary school. I can choose a topic or subject, but I can just totally leave it open. And then I can just hit search. Well, I have it in Epic right now, so let me clear it out a little bit. So we'll go some elementary, see what's happening. Maybe I want to do history. And once it's already starting to search. So what I do is I typically look and see how many times things have been used first, because I know it's a popular one. This walking on rainbow, whatever that is at the Met, that's a popular one right now, and it's being used. So this is what the person has used. This teacher has already used it. They gave me a question. They gave me some examples. They've uploaded these links. And so what I can do is I can easily select, let me zoom in a bit. I can select that class that I've already created today, and I hit add, and now that assignment just added right to my class right here. It's back into my French 2. This is a nice little world because I can actually edit it. If I was like, I don't want 1.5 minutes, I can change it to 5. Maybe we didn't read about Dorothy. I can totally delete that. As soon as I'm ready, I update the topic, and now it's posted for my whole class. So that's what's so handy about Disco Libraries. I don't have to be super creative all the time. I can just look and see what other people are using and reuse it in 2 seconds. So those are my 2 favorite places, I would say, is My Grids, which is always where your stuff is. Here's your classes and your topics. And Disco Library is finding things of what people are doing. So hopefully that's a little bit helpful. All right, any questions so far? Let me hit stop share so I can pop into that chat room. Hopefully you got something from that today. It is being recorded if you did jump on late. It looks like we're good. Awesome. All right, well, thanks guys for joining in, and definitely email me. I'll put my email on the slide deck, or just email that info@knowingtechnologies. Hopefully you got something out of it. You can start practicing it, get your feet wet, and then when you get stuck, you can totally just jump in and ask us more questions. Thanks everyone. It was good to talk to all of you, and hopefully you got something out of it today, right? All right, have a good one.